And welcome back to the Conor Ahearn Podcast. We are actually with yet another guest, and we have my co-host, of course, Christian Scarley, but we have that 1320 chick, Joanna, here. How about you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hey guys, I'm Joanna. I go by that1320chick online. I have a 2018 Mustang that I drag race, and I'm from Royal Oak.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're a local YouTuber ripping a Mustang around.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's weird to call yourself a YouTuber because it's at what point?
Yeah, like at what
YouTuber?
following base?
Yeah, how big do you have to be before you're yeah, I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing that for a year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and in that year you've done just under 10,000 subscribers?
Yes.
So
that's pretty good.
That's
Is
pretty
it?
good.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
pretty good.
No.
There's been people who will just put out content for years with 12 subscribers or something, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden one video will go viral, and then tons of people will just go start following them, and then they keep going, and all of a sudden within 6 months they have 1 million subscribers. And so I think some of it's just trying to hit that. But even if you don't hit that viral, or I guess if you don't hit that viral mark, that steady growth is it's hard to get, and it means that you have something that people actually like to consume. So I think you could probably call yourself a YouTuber.
At
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I'm in that realm of do I keep doing it because it's doing well, or do I I don't know. I'm on that fence all the time. Do I want to keep doing this?
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do otherwise? Do you have a main career that you are pursuing, or is...
So it's funny you asked. So I used to do marketing for a dealership.
Okay.
We kind of didn't see eye to eye on where that position was going, and I just didn't think it was good for my career anymore. So I kind of stepped back and I took a couple months off, and Brian didn't care. Brian, my husband, he didn't care if I worked or if we focused on YouTube. I really do need to work, so it's been a tough couple months. But I actually just accepted a position at AEV. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, the off-roading place. They've
Yep.
got some really cool Jeep parts and conversion stuff like that.
So I'm very, very excited about that. So I'm going to be starting next week. And then I'm going to try to keep doing this on the side. So for a while, this has been just a side thing.
Yeah.
So for a side thing, I guess it's done pretty well.
Yeah, 10,000 subscribers, side hustle, not too bad.
Yeah. Could be worse.
Yeah, but with AEV, are you gonna, you kind of picture building up your personal brand in there, or are you just kind of carving out a more career, you think?
I think I'm going to keep them separate for a while.
Yeah.
The only way that they'll probably ever overlap is if I do SEMA with them.
Yeah.
Or any kind of events with them. But I'm going to try to keep, from advice that I've received from other YouTubers that are big, they kept trying to tell me is keep it very one thing at a time. And then once you're bigger, you can start branching out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what I'm going to try to do for a while and kind of see how that does as a career and then decide from there.
Yeah. So I guess we're all talking about cars. What was your first car? Mustang?
No.
No? Civic?
I had an '01 silver Taurus.
Okay.
Got in a car accident, and my dad bought me the exact same thing. So I had two silver Tauruses, and I hated it in high school. Mm-hmm. But as I got older, I actually really appreciated it. I could fit, because I was going to school for architecture, so I could fit my bags in it. It wasn't bad on gas. And then my dad worked out as I got older. When I really wanted to buy a Mustang, he was like, well, you can keep it for the winter.
Yeah.
So then I had that for the winter while I bought my Mustang when I was 20. So they overlapped for a little while. So I was kind of spoiled at 20.
Okay, that's not too bad.
I paid for the Mustang. I just didn't pay for the Taurus.
Okay. So did you jump into drag racing and all that right away when you got the Mustang, or was that kind of...
Oh, yeah, 100%. My dad let me first drag race when I was 18 with his... when I was 18, the 5-liter came back out. So it was an 11, but he got it the summer before. So I immediately, I didn't care if it was fast. I just want to go down the track.
Yeah.
So I had gone down the track a couple of times with that, and then a few people were like, oh, well, my SRT8 Jeep's slow. You can take it. The first gen. So I was like, okay. So I took that a few times, and then that was, I think I went 1 year without a car, and then I turned 20, and then I bought my own.
Okay.
So it wasn't a 5-liter. It was only a 4.6, but it was what I could afford at the time going through college.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to hate on the 4.6 too much. I've got one in my hot rod.
Do you?
Yeah, it was a cheap motor that I picked up from a friend, and it's souped up a little bit with some factory performance parts. like a high performance pressure plate, just silly little things like that. But yeah, it's not that.
The question is it a 2-valve 4.6, 4-valve, or a 3-valve?
It's a 4-valve.
Right here.
Well, you have a good 4.6. I got made fun of because I had a 3-valve 4.6.
Yeah.
Kind of like the bastard of them.
Yeah, I mean this one.
This is yours?
Yeah, this is actually in the studio next door.
Oh, can I check it out?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's whether you can kind of tell from this photo or not, it's a replica. It's all fiberglass with like a tube chassis underneath it.
Oh no, I would have had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, it rips, but it's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to take a drive in it, but I think I would be looking out for obstacles as well for the driver.
Yeah.
You know, I'd definitely be checking at all the stoplights, because if you get T-boned,
You are so
You're
done.
Well,
dead.
and Michigan roads. I mean, you hit one pothole.
yeah,
That's
and
probably
it could
that day.
totally mess like if you just knock something out of alignment, especially with something like this, I have a feeling
Yeah, I mean,
it could.
Oh yeah.
Well, the one cool part is there's no fender, so you're not gonna bottom out your fender into your fender well.
That's good.
But you have to keep the rear super stiff because, as you can tell, the tires are tucked a little bit. So if it squats too heavily, you're just ripping into fiberglass.
Oh yeah. That's
And-
wild.
Yeah.
I mean, so you have a pretty modern car. Have you ever had an old project or anything
No.
you're planning on?
My husband's SN will be our like oldest project that I've worked on. So he has 94 teal SN 95.
Yeah, I think I vaguely or briefly saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, we unfortunately it's been 4 years that it's been down, but we're coyote swapping it, and then we have an MT82 for it, which I know everyone's gonna give us a hard time for MT82 swapping it,
Yeah.
but we have a Cobra Jet waiting for it, and then I got the K member for his wedding present. So we have a few. It's gonna need a custom drive shaft, and we'll need a few like custom made things, but.
As far as custom parts
pretty
go,
good.
drive shafts are probably pretty easy. I mean,
yeah.
It's any drive shaft shop will be like, oh, American car?
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
problem.
They're like, okay, we'll just be out to measure.
Yeah.
So we won't have any problem with that. It's just the time.
Yeah.
The time has been the hardest part of any project that we have.
I think that's the biggest thing I struggle with it too. Because I mean, I built up a LS3 Miata in college, my junior year, and I mean, there's still things I'm like fixing on it here and there. I mean, I'm trying to prep it for a track event this weekend, and I'm just counting down the list of, is this going to happen?
That we're the same way. Like, I want to go to a race in Bowling Green at the end of the month, and Brian's like, he's like, you don't have a cage, so we might not be able to go to that. So everything has like a list. Should we make it? Can we make it? Do we have time?
Yeah, I mean, it starts to become a little, can I sacrifice this, or is this not that sketchy to run, or whatever? And you're like, all right, whatever. I mean, right now I need to replace all of my pretty much stems for my lugs, just because I cut them on so I could put spacers on like a typical drift car, dumb build, but my spacers that I put on they're hub centric, which is great, but the stems for them are super short, so I have maybe 3 centimeters of threads, and it's like, no, this is super sketchy.
So real quick, before we dive a little bit more into cars, you mentioned that you went to college for architecture. Is that something that you are currently trying to pursue? I see that, no head shaking.
Don't even ask me about this.
No, it's okay. I just figured out very quickly that I couldn't draw a straight line.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very creative.
There's
but not very
rulers.
technical.
Yeah.
So it was okay. It was architecture, and then I tried interior design, and I'm like, no.
Is it something that you still like kind of enjoy as like just an appreciation of,
Oh, yeah.
when you see
I
it?
wish.
Awesome.
I'm jealous. I wish I could have gone into it, but I just don't have that kind of math skill.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's an architect, so it's the family business. So when I made the decision to not pursue that, it was just one of those things of like, I really like drawing, I like designing, but yeah, I'm not into the math portion of it, where engineering and design meets, that's architecture, and I was not down to do all the years of engineering classes.
Yeah, no. I learned very quickly that a straight line and me are not friends.
Yeah.
Except making burnouts.
Oh yeah, I can drive in a straight line.
Yeah, you're like, I can do some solid 11s, and
Yeah, that's fine. But
Yeah.
no, I quickly went into marketing after that. So I'm glad I figured it out before I did 5 years of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more of a fun job anyways, marketing.
Oh, yeah. Marketing is different because it has so many aspects. Like, you can go into the accounting side of it. You want to build a billboard. To me, my favorite is knowing that cereal is placed on the shelves for a certain reason.
Mm-hmm.
When I learned that, I was like, oh my God, this is a career for me.
Yeah, when you actually understand the thought process that goes into each product that you're holding, you're like, wait, this isn't just some slap together item.
Yeah,
and they actually thought about what I'm going to be thinking about as I just briefly stroll past this item.
Mm-hmm. Like when I first learned in high school, so I like thought about marketing when I was younger, and I was like, no, it's probably not like a lucrative career because it was like at the point where we weren't really sure.
Yeah,
and
digital stuff really was just on that cusp.
Yeah, and everyone kind of talked you out of it. So when I first learned that cereal, like Lucky Charms, are at this level, so like children see them in the cart, I was like, oh my God, I was like mesmerized.
Yeah,
so
like
cool.
it's all about the like social hacking and engineering of the mind, where it's like, hey, we're gonna manipulate a child to see this based on these colors, and then they're gonna take it to their parents and just throw it in the cart.
Yep.
They even have color science for, I mean, all the way down. I did some studying on social media and things like that in college, and there's entire case studies all the way down to like what colors work best in what situations for media. So like cool colors work better on Instagram than warm colors.
Exactly.
Even though it's not always the case, but the data technically speaks towards cooler colors. Why? I don't know. I didn't read that far, but
I read the headline.
I read more than the headline, but I got the juice out of it.
The ADD.
I don't need the rest of it.
Yeah, it was important.
Yeah. So, what's your fastest time you've been doing lately in the Mustang?
I did a 938 at 150.
That is impressive. So, I'm guessing that's from the Whipple supercharger.
Yep.
Okay.
It just is under 4,000 pounds with me in it. So we've pulled a tiny bit of weight out of it, but not much.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's a heavy car from the factory.
Oh, yeah. It sucks, like, when I hear my friends with G8s and, like, SSs and stuff, and I'm like, your G8 only weighs, like, 50 pounds more than my coupe?
Yeah.
You know, so, that we pulled like 100 pounds out of it because we switched to drag brakes. And that's been kind of it. I just took the rear seat out.
Okay.
And then I did Corbeaus, which I thought were going to lighten it up a ton. I thought the OEM seats
they're not so
they're not as light as I was expecting, but the OEMs were heavier than or lighter than I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
that sucked.
OEM seats are always pretty heavy, but I think with the Mustang seat, they really don't have that much in it.
I thought because it was heated and cooled, because the V seats were like anywhere from like 80 to 100, I think, depending if they were Recaro or not.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, if it's 80 and it lightens it up 50 a seat, that'll be great. But
it turned into more like 20 a seat, if that.
The OEMs ended up only being like 51 pounds.
Okay.
And with heated and cool, and I'm like, dang, Ford, why are you so efficient?
I
was bummed about that.
I also did some weight reduction on my vehicle, but it wasn't really needed on the LS Miata. It's already
How much do those even already weigh?
I mean, like 2,100 pounds wet.
Oh my God.
So
2,100 pounds.
Yeah, so I haven't corner balanced it, so I'm guessing there. But it's one of those things where I took off the factory doors, and each door is I think roughly 80 pounds each. So I am running carbon fiber doors that are saving me about, I think, 55 pounds each side.
Oh my God.
Why would you do that in a car that's got so much power? Handling?
No, because it's probably worse handling now, actually, because there's a little bit more flex.
Okay.
I have to install some door bars there, because right now I'm just like very vulnerable.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. You're not a
go-kart with no metal sides.
Yeah, not only if you were to hit something from the side, you wouldn't only get that whole metal door on your side, it would splinter and then stab you.
It's just very much so.
Obliterate you.
Yeah, you think wrapping your exhaust was bad. Just try to deal with carbon fiber exploding.
Oh,
yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it was a smart idea on paper, and then you actually start dealing with all the extra things. You're like, probably shouldn't have done this.
Yeah. Maybe not this one.
It's a cool flex, though.
Yeah, right. In more ways than one.
Yeah, pretty much.
So do you have a car I mean, I know you have photos of your car and probably videos of and all that stuff. Is there a good one that I can pull up real quick to show everybody what we're talking about with your new Mustang?
Instagram?
Yeah,
Is
I
it-
would go to my newest video because that has the wrap.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, I saw that. That was
This one?
good move
Yes.
to do some branding.
Yeah, so when you pull it up, I'll explain. So what's unique about this wrap is I basically, like, this is going to sound so dumb, but I didn't want to change the color. I was like, you can't really be different in the Mustang community anymore because every color, every design,
It's already
everything's been done.
Yeah, there's so many Mustangs.
Oh my God, like, you have no idea. Like, my mom would be like, well, why didn't you do light yellow, or why didn't you do this, or everyone's like, why didn't you do purple? I'm like, you can literally search purple S550 and 30 of them will come up.
Yeah.
I was like, so I don't really want to fade into the background. So Brian's like, I thought about doing a martini livery. And I was like, a martini on a Mustang will probably get a lot of hate, even though I think it might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So then Brian's like, well, the livery idea isn't too far off. And I basically just typed in famous Mustang livery and this came up. So I started doing a little bit more research on it and a little more effort, and it came full circle because when I found out that it was actually driven by a girl.
Okay.
So then
that's
it became
a
actually
cool
really
story
cool.
then.
Yeah.
So then the more and more, it actually didn't, it took us a long time because we could only go after work to my dad's shop.
Mm-hmm.
But the more and more we worked on it, I have never wrapped a whole car, Brian's done a whole car, and he just loves wrapping, so it was really fun for us.
Awesome.
Have you contacted the girl who, or is she still alive? The girl who started this
She's
livery?
still
Okay.
alive, but
Did you?
I cannot find contact info
Oh
on
no.
her.
You should. I mean, if you do ever, that would be a really cool conversation to have with them, I
Oh,
think.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
If I could find her, I would.
Mm-hmm.
But I,
And that would be a great video too. You could
yeah.
totally make.
meeting her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So is racing something that you kind of want to pursue as I mean, you're essentially amateurly pursuing racing, correct?
If it could turn into something that's like a career,
Yeah.
then absolutely. I just don't know how to get to that point.
Yeah. I think it's a
Takes
it's a
time.
road.
Yeah. I mean, this is the closest that I've gotten to having, like, the car actually is sponsored and with a few, and this is the closest I've gotten.
Here, try to have the mic a little farther up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
This is the closest that I've gotten to that ever. So, like, you know, you could get, no offense, but, like, you can get Adam's polish, but you ain't getting people who are sending you fuel.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's taken a really long time. So this is actually the car that it's based off
Oh,
of.
that's awesome.
That
looks great too. What's up, guys?
Hello there. So you got some cool merch going on too with is that just like the helmet branding that you have for your personal helmet?
Yeah, I actually had the idea to wrap, somebody gave me the idea to wrap my helmet like that so they would match, and I never would have thought of that. So that's why I always ask people for, like, criticism, even if it's bad.
Yeah,
And
just some critique here or there is always
Yeah.
beneficial.
I need it, because I've had sometimes people are like, I can't hear you. And I'll think about, I'm like, oh, I thought I had this set up. And people are like, wow, you get a lot of hate. And I'm like, that's not hate. I want them to hear this information. So
Yeah.
if they can't understand me, then I'm going to take the video down and fix it. It's not hate to me.
Yeah.
So
I would rather hear some critique than someone silently just having that opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think part of what we do just in the digital space is you're gonna get hate. You're absolutely going to, and it's just what you do with that.
All the
Sometimes it
keyboard
crushes
warriors.
people.
All the damn keyboard warriors.
Yeah, keyboard warriors. Man, this looks great.
And the woodward
Yeah,
community.
this is a good video too.
Joel did it.
Who's that?
Hex, I think his last name is Hixen.
Okay.
Hexen.
So is Joel your videographer, or just kind of like for a few videos here or there, or what's that?
This was one of the very first videos he did, as far as I know, but I thought of him because he's done really great photos and he was
Yeah.
available. Usually we would have Liam,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
unfortunately Liam's moved to Kentucky.
Yeah,
But
what the
Joel-
heck? If Liam, if you're watching this, we still
Yeah.
miss you.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah.
We tell him all the time. I just texted him this morning, and it's a bummer that he's gone, but Joel's been a great replacement, so I can't really.
Yeah, you can't be too
upset.
mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He did an awesome job, and he got this done so quick. And then when we uploaded it, we had a copyright issue, and he fixed it right away. So
Oh, awesome.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
I can't. And he took these
Did
cute photos.
someone
Yeah, great
claimed
photos,
your
too.
content?
Say it again.
Someone claimed your content, or
No, we used a song that wasn't copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
So we're learning. That's what's coming with the next round of videos, I think, is like better quality as far as angles, better camera. Like, we're going to invest in all those things. It's just taking time.
Yeah, well, I mean, for kind of as mentioned before, like for a side hobby thing, you definitely have I've done some self-validation of, getting the subscriber count, the views are there. I mean, it's not all like 9,000 of them for every video, but you have videos that, from what I recall, are like 50,000 views or whatever.
Wait, no, I just checked on our channel. You've got 500,000, 250,000 regularly.
Really?
Views.
Wow,
Let's see. 83, 3.9, and then here, look, 282. We got 241, 150, 100.
You're at 1320.
Yeah, that's 13 good.
Oh no! Okay.
Thank you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, as long as we're getting like that with 9,000, that one was a little bit low, but to me, a lot of people don't know the Dream Cruise as far as on social media yet.
Yeah.
So to me, as long as they get 5,000 or 6,000, I'm pretty happy.
No, that's a consistent number. I mean, if you're getting
83,000 4 weeks ago,
anywhere from 60 to 75% of your like audience base on a video,
that's the way I think. So the Hellcat video actually did this video did a lot better than I was expecting. I had no idea. But I'm friends with some of the 1320 guys that do like their advertising, so I'll be like, hey, how should I name this? And they're like, try to make it always a question, and then you answer it in the video. So it was like super late one night. It was like 2 a.m, and Brian's like, I don't know what to put as a thumbnail, and I'm like, can this Hellcat keep up?
Yeah.
He goes, that works, and I'm like, we'll see. And then we got a ton of subscribers from it, and now with the views like that, and I'm like,
huh.
You just never know. You never know which one's going to do well and which one doesn't.
Right. And I think sometimes there's just like you're at the mercy of the the algorithm. It sounds like you're putting blame on something else, but there legitimately is an algorithm where people aren't seeing your content just in the order of what comes out. They're seeing the content that YouTube decides to put in front of you based off of what it thinks is going to do well. So if you, and it's the same with Instagram and Facebook, and so if you and Google in general. So if you if you're putting out a video that could do great, if it doesn't do well in the first little bit, or if there's something in the algorithm that decides that this video might not do as well, it's not even going to put it in front of your subscribers. The only people that are going to get it are the people with the bell, or a handful of other ones. So I think
the bell. You mean the check mark?
The check mark.
No, the notification.
The notification bell. But yeah, I think if you when you have these videos and you stay consistent, that's where you have content that people can go and then see. So if they see one video that they like, they can go through and see the rest of them. And that's one of the most important things about continuing to be consistent and actually putting out the content is just making sure that it's there. So when somebody does find you and you do start to blow up, you've got this great, you've got a lot more great content for them to watch. So if somebody likes you and they're like, wow, let's watch more of this stuff, they can go there and watch it all.
And
so,
I mean, the name for the brand certainly works with, search engine. I mean,
SEO has got to be great.
That it's funny you say that, because when I came up with that Instagram name, I had no idea. I mean, I had heard of 1320 video, but I don't think 5 or 6 years ago it was as big as it is.
No, I would say it kind of blew
they were
up
still making DVDs.
Yeah. It was still like that Super Speeders Rob and that kind of style of, mischief.
Texas
content.
Underground.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I thought of that actually because my first Instagram name was Mustang Chick.
Okay.
And I was like, when I got the V, I was like, well, it's not going to work. So then I was like, well, as I get older, I was like, I'm not going to sell cars anymore. I'm going to keep them. Yeah. And I was like, I want to have this general genre of being able to have cars. And so I thought of that. And Brian's like, it works. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'll change it in the future if it sucks. And then we had the V and then got this car. I'm like, it works. I'm just going to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. So, I mean, you've pretty much just been a car enthusiast from day one then. I mean, like, your first Instagram handle was about being a car chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that being said, it's kind of been a weird road where, I mean, not to be cliche, but it's kind of like a man's world, like the automotive culture, and, like, perhaps it's a little easier per se because your dad kind of probably threw you into it and brought you into his shop all the time.
Yeah. So, the hardest has been, being a girl, but I think I've done well with keeping my image, so I don't ever get the, oh, well, she's just
Yeah.
Can you say thought?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I don't know how you guys.
We try not to like drop the F-bomb or whatever, but yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah, no,
totally.
Yeah, like words like thought, whatever.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
completely.
So like I think the image has been fine enough where I don't get that.
Yeah.
So that was a big.
You have
thing.
a very like wholesome, like online
I appreciate that
presence.
word. I appreciate it because I've more wanted to be like a role model. So to me, there isn't a ton aside from like my mom having her Mustang. There weren't a lot of women, when I was 18 to look up to.
Yeah.
So my dad and I fought about that a lot. Like, you're not modeling in front of your car. You're not posing. You're not one of those girls. So I think what happened being the hardest growing up was transitioning from being the little girl that stood on my dad's side to now being racing next to my dad.
Yeah.
So his friends haven't changed. All his customers are there, and they're like, they went from, wow, I knew you this big, and now it's like, wow, you're actually as fast as your dad. Like,
yeah. Well, I think his intentions were solid there, and it sounds like he got exactly what he was kind of aiming for, where like he didn't have his daughter end up being a ringside girl or a Penske girl
or flagging the race.
Yeah, he wanted his daughter to be beating him in a drag race.
It took a long time, but we've definitely developed a relationship.
Yeah, I think we...
Looks like I think you completed that. You are actually driving the car, and here's a video of you doing it, and I think that's great for girls who want to do the same thing, and it opens the door for more people to realize that it's not just a guy's sport. I mean, it's primarily dominated by guys, and I think there's certain reasons why, but anybody who wants to get into it can, and I think I've started to see more of a community of girls start to come together and do things like this, and I think it's great, and the girls who want to do it know that there's not that many that also do, and so whenever they find somebody that does and has that a good inspiration, I think it's a great contribution to the car scene in general.
I actually started a group, so I have like 15 girls I talk to daily, and if they don't drag race, they are into cars, and a lot of them are like, oh, well, I don't drag race, and I don't have anybody to track with me, and I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. You're just putting your contribution in by being into cars and talking about it with us. So, actually at LS Fest, all the videos I got are just my girlfriends.
That's awesome.
So eventually I would like to turn my channel into like interviewing women, or at least have a day where that would be like Wednesdays are women crochet.
Yeah, I remember growing up watching all the like car shows after school, and there was always that women's garage or girls' garage. Mm-hmm. With that, I think that girl Jessie that just passed away was on that show.
Yeah, I think it was her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we would watch those, and now when I first had an Instagram, like I would see girls with like a Mustang, and to me, I never thought to own a Mustang without racing it. So I would message them and like, do you drag race? And they'd be like, no. And they would give me an attitude, and like that wasn't my intention. Like my intention was just like, I don't know anybody else that really does this, so I just want to be your friend.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, like especially the first, like when I first got an Instagram, like I didn't know what the etiquette was. I'm like, do you race?
Yeah, I mean, it's still weird figuring out the etiquette these days, where you're like, I don't really like feel comfortable reaching out to all these strangers, but like that's kind of how you're here now. Right.
And like now the etiquette that I'm trying to learn is like collaborating with other YouTubers.
Exactly.
So I had somebody big with a Mustang comment on something. So I was like,
oh, I got to jump on this real quick.
Yeah, I was like, if he's seeing my content, I have to message him. And he said like, congrats, car's running awesome. And I was like, So I like messaged him. I was like, oh, will you be at this race? Like, and a lot of people were tagging us both. And I was like, let's see this happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And so I messaged him, and I was like, so I don't know what the etiquette is, but, like, would you want to race if we could get this going? And he's like, yeah, I'll be at Mod Nationals. Let's get this going. And I'm like, wow. That just worked.
This is great.
Yeah, okay,
it's amazing how just one, like, a single Instagram message, you never know who has been also watching you and can see, like, the progress that you're doing. You never know who's, like, following from a distance, and doesn't have to be in a creepy way, and they see something that either they want to compliment you on or contribute to or whatever, and occasionally it just adds to an entire new connection. Just one, I've had Instagramming or DMing just one person, and it turns into this huge snowball effect of a great source of content, a great source of work, somebody else who can help out, stuff like that. So I'm a big believer of all the like just private messaging, whether it's on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and even when you're just doing little stuff, like just keeping up with somebody is great to do like that.
Oh yeah.
You know,
You have no idea, just because like the owner of Streetcar Takeover was following me for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Brian, Chase is following me. And then we met him, and he's like a family friend now.
Yeah.
But he's huge, so why was he following me?
Hey, so we mentioned to keep it like a fist away, but just go a little closer, because right now you were doing a great job, but no, you're doing a great job. It was just we're having a little bit of an issue with the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like the same deal with Detail Garage. I randomly got a direct message from them, and they're like, "Hey, we would love to feature your car in one of the car events." And I was just like, "What is this detail shop?" But now that's where I buy my car products. And
same with me.
yeah, aren't you a brand ambassador there now? Okay.
Yep. So the owner's awesome. Garrett came in or let us come in and detail the car, and like it's always been a skill that I've wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I just never got to it. I always thought I was gonna like fry the paint. I was like, I'm just gonna rip all the clear coat off, so I'm just not gonna do it.
I even get a little sketched out about it once in a while, just because. I mean, I used to have a detailing company when I was like 14 or something like that. That was like my first little like side hustle after having lemonade stands as a little kid. But yeah, like I'll still go into a detail shop and being like, all right, am I buying the right stuff?
Yeah, like you never know.
Exactly. And they're super helpful in there. So yeah, I mean, I just kind of was like, oh wow, this is a cool brand, and actually to have a store nearby where it's not just going to AutoZone to pick up like a...
Right, and then you can actually ask questions and they know, and it's not like, oh, I think aisle 4 has towels. You know, they actually know what they're talking about, and when you're like, hey, there's something stuck on it and I don't know how to get it off, they walk outside and help you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the only downside is there are certain products that are always just off the shelf. Like, they just, as soon as they get them in stock, gone. Because, like, they're a popular store, but they can only stock so many items, and it's just, like, every time I've been going in there to get that little air, like the air sprayer, or, like, or, you know, just pretty much to get all the water out of the crevices of your car, and people just pick those up, like...
Oh, yeah. They're awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
No, exactly.
You're just bummed every time.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just
you guys
like...
call me when you get the shipping in?
Yeah, you're like, come on, just, you know, let me know. I'm right down the street.
Right, I'm on the email list.
Yeah.
Please let me know.
Yeah. So what's it like being a brand ambassador? What does that entail for them?
So we actually went and took the class, and I would like to go back actually and learn a little bit more. We got some product from them, and I try to throw them in videos here and there, like, oh, this is what we're using.
Yeah, kind of just scratch their back. They scratch your back with some.
Yeah, absolutely. Post about them here and there. Or, hey, how do I keep or what did I use before I put the wrap? All this, you know. So it's been pretty easy as far as back and forth for them, but I wish they were a little closer. But I need to stop by and get some new stuff from them.
Well, I mean, it's depending on where you're going, it might be on your way back. I mean, they're I think only 10 minutes from here.
Yeah, they're on my. I take that way purposely to go to my parents, and I'll just stop in and be like, hey, how are you guys?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really cool company.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you have any other?
Well, you're married to Detroit Riot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both drive Mustangs.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that. You know, who is he? What does he do?
So Brian and I actually met at a car show. Do you guys remember the Exceed Speed meets?
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to click on that one, but here's his foot.
Yeah, I watched that yesterday.
If anybody wants to see his foot.
On a fork, plastic fork.
Ouch.
It was a metal one.
Oh, I thought it was a plastic one.
Ouch.
He's walking into the kitchen and I just hear him scream, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I'm getting you an adult size high chair. But what's funny is that one was when he ate a couple days ago. He had a I don't know, what are they? Pizza roll explode. I'm like, you're not allowed to eat. Like, you have to sit in the kitchen. And you're not allowed to come
Giant man child.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's babysitting him, but.
I mean, my fiance probably says the same thing about me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but it keeps it interesting.
And she made sure I got to bed last night and fall asleep on the couch at like 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. rather, and she was just like, "Come on, let's go."
Oh yeah, same thing with him. Like I'm like, do you want me to wrap your foot out?
Do you need some blankets?
Yeah, he's too much. Like that photo perfectly describes him. Like,
this one?
Yep, just sitting in the bed in the trunk of my truck, and but yeah, we actually met at Exceed Speed when that was a thing still, and we just talked a bunch, and he was a customer of my dad's, and it kind of just, do you guys know Ken Emmons?
Yeah.
So I'm really good friends with Ken, and Ken was like, I think we should start having Brian around. And I was like, okay. I was on and off in a relationship, so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
And then Brian started hanging around a lot more, and then we started getting even closer, and we were both ending a relationship right at the same time, and he was like, so you want to try this out? And I was like, not really.
You're like, no.
I was like, no. And then almost a year went by, and we went to Mustang Week. I stayed with different people because I had already planned on it. And he was like, well, you can come hang out with my friends. And then we looked at each other, and he's like, what are we doing? And I was like, all right, fine, we can give it a try.
Yeah.
And then we just hit 4 years of dating in July.
Oh, awesome.
So, well, we're married now. But
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it was about 3 years of dating, and then got married like 6 months ago or something.
We got married in June, so almost 3 months ago.
Okay, awesome.
So
yeah, I saw the photos of the burnout, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they it was funny. My aunt texted me on Monday, and she's like, I wanted to see what happened over the weekend. Apparently, only you got married. She's like, they were everywhere. I'm like, I didn't think they'd be shared that much.
I mean,
know?
I think anytime there's a good automotive themed wedding, it goes pretty viral.
Yeah, that when it got posted on 1320, my buddy texted me, and he's like, so we consider like 400,000 views to and up is viral.
Yeah.
He's like, and you guys are at like 650,000, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll take it.
All right.
Like,
all
not
right.
bad.
Yeah, but my wedding photos went viral.
Yeah, I'm like, that's fine. I'll take it.
650,000 views on the photo or the video?
Their share.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, he was like, can you guys do more stupid shit
Yeah,
like
you getting
that?
a cut of that?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, please.
You're like,
Did I
yeah.
get the views? Probably not. But that's his SM, so we're going to be working on that soon. This one.
This one right here?
So that was a while ago then.
Yeah, that was its magazine shoot, so it actually came out on a magazine and then broke a month later. So it's been down since August of 15.
That's cool. What magazine, though?
Muscle Mustang.
Okay,
So
cool.
it was on the cover, and then it was like the centerfold.
All right, so he's been equally into cars.
Yeah. I mean, for some reason, I still don't understand why teal has such a following, but it did.
Yeah, I mean, one of my buddies had a convertible version of that set up, and the teal, I couldn't get behind it. But
I didn't understand, but like they love it, and then that's why he actually wrapped. If you go down far enough, the wagon was teal at some point.
Okay.
So like everybody's like, oh well, now that it's down, LS swap it, and we like hit it for a while, and we're like, when we finally posted the wagon, we were like, look, we LS swapped it.
Yeah.
So we had the wagon for a while. Our cars had quite a different. In the LS world or like the V community, wrapping a car was different.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, we'll do this quick.
Well, yeah, for quite a while, the V crowd was it's kind of like a more mature driver. Mm-hmm. I mean, the dad that likes to hoon on his way to work.
I was gonna say I've known people who drive or CTSVs, and most of them drive them like
hard.
you would want them to be driven,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is
It's
not
like
necessarily in a mature fashion.
Well, no, so it's a mature, immature. Like, it's the WRX driver that got a white-collar job.
Yeah, they're the
I
ones
would
that
agree.
can afford to drive like
Yeah.
that because they can pay to get out of those tickets.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, I remember when I was driving down to Detroit when I was going to college at CCS, and I just every morning there was this wagon that went the same way, and we would just haul down Jefferson, and it was just like, "Hey, you doing this? You're doing this? Okay, we're both doing this. Okay."
Same time tomorrow?
Yeah. Like.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, we would just wave and be like, "See ya tomorrow, buddy."
That's
great.
how him and I were. Like we would drive together all the time. And he's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "I'm faster. I don't care. Let's go."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, "I'm still not dating you."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just because you beat me that one time.
It's funny you say that because we raced on the way out of that meet, and Brian was like, "I won." And to this day, I think I won. There's no footage, and his passenger says I won just to piss Brian off. But
That
to
is
be honest,
rough.
I think I won, and he thinks he won. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a cute little bickerment that you can go back and forth on.
Our
though.
grandkids will know about that.
Yeah. I mean, so not trying to push too hard, but safe to say your kid will be a automotive enthusiast between the two of you.
If it happens, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
if
still
that's a
friends,
thing, yeah. Well, I get it. I mean, I'm getting married soon. That conversation, it's certainly we'll figure it out.
if it happens, it happens. But we're not like trying.
Yeah, I mean, in this kind of day and age with just like economy and everything like that, it's kind of hard to plan for even just two people living together, let alone being like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a child
and then still have your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
how can
the
you
crazy,
go to Mustang Week and have a baby? You have to have headphones for the baby.
Yeah, and get a babysitter who likes cars. Bring him along.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, because we're going to Mod Nationals, which is like, I guess you would say like a small LS fest, but for Fords. And my dad's coming, so I'm joking. I'm like, yeah, I'm bringing my tuner and my babysitter when she's available. My mom will just come with, and she's like, I don't want to get old and have to just babysit. And I was like, well, you're a mom. Let's, you're the grandma. That's obviously what has to happen. She's like, well, as long as you guys get an enclosed trailer, I'll be fine. I'm like, done.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'll get one of those nice trailers that has like the apartment and the car area.
Yep, I told her, I was like, if that's all I have to do, I was like, you're coming to every race.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that stinks is there's no, like, female role model to kind of go off of for me, because my mom had cars, but she never, like, raced.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's like, do these women race pregnant? Did the suit still fit? Like, do I really, like, my mom asked, she's like, so if you guys do, like, when are you thinking? I'm like, well, first, you're not really supposed to plan it, because even if you do, you never know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, if we get pregnant now, I could probably still wear my jacket in November for the race. And then it's like, April's a really good time to race. So it's like, can I still have my jacket, my suit on? And then it's like, do I want to miss? Well, May and June, if I miss, it's fine because it's kind of hot. And then I'll have the baby in July.
Yeah.
So
it's either you're planning out the suit not fitting or not sleeping. Yeah. You're like, okay, so I can either do this or this. Which mathematically works? Oh, wait, I don't like math.
Right. I'm like... It's like which time frame works. Like, do we want to have one in the summer? Like, because usually prime racing is April, May, and then you go back to like September, October. Yeah. So it's like, can I miss all this time? Like, it would be ideally have one like in the summer, really, or like incubated over this winter. You know what I mean?
You're like, if someone could just have it for me and raise it most ways.
Yeah, most of the time, like call mom and dad, be like, oh, I'm dropping one off on the pile. So. We'll see. It'll. That's the only thing that stinks once you get married is like, so when are you guys gonna grow up and not have cars anymore?
Yeah.
I'm like,
what?
Yeah. And I was
Excuse
like,
me.
When my dad,
no.
Yeah, I'm like, when my dad grows up, I'll grow up. Because my mom and dad actually made it into a magazine when she saw, there was an article that said, women and children killed car hobbies. And she wrote into the magazine and was like, that's not true. Yeah. And they featured me, my mom, and my dad, and I was like a couple months old. And they came and did a story on their two fox bodies.
That's awesome.
Oh, I like that. Because I was going to bring up the fact that a lot of times when, after a girl gets pregnant, a lot of times there's all sorts of things that change and what they want to do, what they're into, what they can handle, and all sorts of stuff. And so, like, for example, my mom said that she always wanted to go skydiving and she was about to do it kind of thing. And then after she got pregnant, she's like, nope, don't really need to do that anymore.
Well, I think that just goes into either gender with... the concept of like you have someone that you just created.
Right. Yeah, I would. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because like, I mean, honestly, like there's a lot of dumb things that I've done, and even just now that I have someone that like literally is tied to my life, and without her even being someone that I've like, without her being my child, she's my wife or soon to be wife. There's still things that I'm like, I've done that once before. I don't need to do it again. Like I did that really sketchy aerial like stunt plane thing. That was fun. Not so sure I need to do it again.
Yeah, I've experienced it, and now I can cherish that memory and don't necessarily need to do it again.
I might do it again, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
It's happened once. Well, that's why I've always been. My dad doesn't have a cage in his 11.
Ooh.
And he's been one of those kind of people that figures if he goes to events, he can be like, oh, it's a low 10 car. Because sometimes it's worse if you just have like a roll bar, and then they'll be like, well, what does this run if it has a roll bar?
Yeah.
So he's lived very risky, and I was like, I don't want to put a cage in this. I don't want to put a cage in it. And then I was at a race, and one of the guys was like, you have to. He was like, it's your life. He's like, imagine leaving Brian behind. He was like, I know you think that this is a fun street car, which it is. He's like, it's not like it's going to get ruined. He was like, but imagine like leaving your whole family behind. Or when you do have a child, he was like, you have to worry about your safety. And I'm like, all right, if you put it that way. So the car, unfortunately, has to go get a cage over the winter.
Yeah. I mean, kind of same boat with the Miata.
You're like, it's like you want to take it to Woodward and go get ice cream, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to die.
Exactly. I'd rather crawl over some NASCAR-style door bars and, live to tell another day.
Right. So in case something does happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's in Michigan, it's almost not when, or sorry, not if, but when.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I was just driving, my Huracan up Metro Parkway yesterday, and someone decided to go from the far left U-turn lane into the middle lane, and nearly sent the car in the middle lane into me. Yeah.
It's not about Michigan.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, that was a very Michigan morning, and
that's a good check. Every once in a while, I have an experience in a car where I'm like, not necessarily I'm going to cool it, but I'm going to be a little more cautious in this environment, or, okay, I'm not going to do that very specific thing again.
Yeah.
Like any sort of driving, unlike on any sort of aggressive driving in any sort of like resident, I realize this sounds like very obvious,
well,
but
you're talking about in Mexico, of course.
Yeah, in Mexican residential areas, you got people pushing strollers in the street, and you never know like what you get.
Yeah,
it's not like America.
Yeah, God forbid.
Yeah, no, not the same.
That was not politically charged. That is about racing.
Yes. Racing.
Yeah.
ING.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. My sister texted me one time, and she's like, "How do you go to Mexico so often?" Because out of my siblings, I'm the only one that's kind of into cars, and they're like, "How do you go to Mexico with Dad every other weekend?" And I'm like,
"You're like expensive gas."
I send it. Okay, didn't you hear me? I'm sending it in Mexico.
I was like, "We just go real quick, turn right back around."
Yeah, my car's fast enough.
Down with the car in it. Yeah, right. We have a really big plane.
Yeah, if we trailer it.
It's all that YouTube money.
Yeah. Oh my God. So funny that you say that. The minute you have a little bit of a following, everyone just thinks you're rich already.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think we've made like $500 in the year, which is great. Yeah. I'm not complaining, but you know what I mean.
It's still one of those things. I mean, like people look at like larger accounts like Parker's, like with Vehicle Virgins, and they see his lifestyle, and they're like, oh, it all has to be like that. And it's like, I think that guy is very good at business. And has done well for himself because he's good at business.
You're right. It's like Cletus. Cletus has a master's degree in business.
Yeah.
And it's not like, to me, YouTube's do well. But again, like what we were saying, it's a crapshoot. You don't know which video is going to do well or who's going to continue watching it.
And people might just not like your personality.
No. And that's a big thing I tell people too. But also it's like, it's your merchandise. Like you can make shirts and no one want to buy them.
Yeah. I mean, what was that Instagram model that has like 2 million followers and she actually struggled to sell more than 3 shirts?
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that makes you real. I mean,
well, that's why people
was she like a butt Instagrammer?
Yeah, butt thought.
Yeah, because that's why.
Yeah.
People are only
it's all about the butt.
They're only following her to see some booty cheeks on their Instagram
so maybe
timeline.
if she put her butt on a T-shirt, she
might be okay.
She probably would have sold 2 million shirts.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Well, it's funny you say that because I've had girls that have big followings like that, and they're like, my YouTube's not doing well. And
you're like, I wonder why.
Well, yeah, I was like, you're not going to convert a bunch of guys that are following you because of your nice body to like follow you putting makeup on.
I mean, I think...
Yeah, you'll convert a few of them. Like, probably the creepy ones.
Yeah, the creepy ones anyway.
I would say you probably fare well from the, like, dudes that are like, okay, I like the fact that she is a girl, but I more so like her content.
I've been lucky with that. I get a few creep messages every once in a while, like, oh, can we get married? And like, but they're never, I have not had a lot of nasty ones. I get a few, like, can I have feet photos at the track every once in a while.
At the track.
Is a thing where dudes are asking for really weird
pictures of
like that.
Pictures of like a foot cam, like when you're driving and you see all the
or like driving a stick. And I'm like,
but barefoot.
Yeah,
no, they're really into it.
I'm like, that's fine. I was like, but nothing is free. I was like, so whatever
you should do. You should make a video like that and don't tell anyone why you're doing it. just do it.
Make a separate Instagram account.
And then you can always just link them to that video and they'll follow you.
The feet video.
I mean,
yeah.
Screw having to go swimming at a guy's house. Yeah, right. You can just post photos of your feet and dudes will pay for them.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently.
Well, it's like you need like a Patreon of just driving.
Just driving.
I'm just anonymous, just like girl shifting.
Yeah. See, I think there's some gender bias in this. I think I've got great feet. Yeah. I've never had a single person tell me about that. I just like to put it out there. I don't know if I have great feet, but
I don't know.
But I think that's.
It's funny when I post something, like when we were on our honeymoon, like just in my story, I would be like in front of the pool and I'd have like my coffee in my hand and like my toes in the back, like blurred.
Yeah.
And people would be like, I didn't know you had cute feet. I'm like neither did I.
I didn't know you had a foot fetish. Like,
I'm like, or I would get the questions like, oh, can you send me a photo of you on the beach with like your feet? And I'd be like, sure, how much?
yeah.
And they're like, really? I'm like, nothing's free.
Yeah.
I'm like, so come on, let's come up with a deal, you know?
Yeah,
And then they're scared off.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely one of those small things that I've experienced in life with dealing with my fiance. She has like a yoga page.
Oh my God, I can only imagine what she gets.
So her content's like 98% wholesome, but that last
That
2% that I kind of have to take responsibility for.
Yep.
It's definitely brought some interesting eyes.
Oh, I can only imagine.
You should just make an Instagram of reposting you in every position that she takes a photo in.
H3 Productions does that.
Who's that?
Ethan Klein from H3H3. He takes really funny photos. He's like he's quite fat, like just unfortunately like built.
He is. Do you know which one it is?
H3 Productions. It's right there.
Okay, so
maybe it's under Ethan Klein. Oh well, no, there you go.
Yes, yes.
So his wife is pregnant or was pregnant. They just had their kid. And,
Oh, I know who they are. People think I look like her.
yeah. Oh.
Oh,
People,
really?
Yeah, people compare me to her all the time. They're like, I didn't know she had a YouTube. I'm
I
like,
could see it.
You know what? I can see it.
My last video, I got so many comments at her, and I looked alike. I was
Yeah,
like,
well, I bet you that's the community that you definitely could fare well from engaging with, but risky. So if you're just watching at this point, go to your screen. Check this out.
I think you're gonna need body hair for that one. Can you get transplants for that?
So, or just go to Ethan or H3 Productions.
Oh God! How did I miss that? Oh man!
oh my God.
Welcome to the Conor Ahearn Podcast. Today we're speaking with 1320 chick about 1320 chick about feet and recreated photos.
We don't know how we got here.
No, somehow these conversations always get here, though.
Yeah.
No, but it's great. This is where the first part of the podcast is taken a little more seriously, and then the second part of the podcast, after about 30 minutes, all of a sudden
it's for our hardcore
open
viewers
season
at this point.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They get the gift of humor at this point.
Oh yeah, it takes a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll be able to take photos like that for my fiance.
That takes a lot of self-confidence.
Well, no, I can't.
Like security.
I can't push it out that.
Yeah, it's just
I have
not possible.
I'm close with the gut.
I'm pretty confident, dude. I don't have a problem with taking a selfie like that.
Yeah.
I'm just not into posting selfies.
See, like,
they're kind of odd.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those couples that'll post like or like a dad who will take photos just like the girl,
Yeah,
and
like
he'll
his
like
daughter.
tuck the shorts up his butt crack, and
I will absolutely do that. That's something I won't have a problem with. In fact, I probably will like show up at her school and put a sticker of me in that position on her back windshield. Just like, by the way.
Yeah, and then sign it with like with a window marker.
Like every day, like an awful photo upload. I have one to match.
Yeah.
That's why I tell Brian all the time, like, we can only have kids if you promise to be that kind of dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can make that happen.
Yeah. You definitely have to know when to push it, but keep it within the limits too, because like you don't want to make it like a
thing, like a all the time thing.
Yeah, like it would be kind of weird being that dad that goes viral for.
Yeah, go for it.
Like or just like just any dad stuff where you're like just trying to parent and like you see the attempts of people doing that and you're like, that wasn't a good parenting move.
Yeah,
probably shouldn't have tried to go viral with that one.
Yeah,
buddy.
or like where the kid's actually like getting hurt and all the comments are like, oh, put your phone down and take care of your child.
Yeah,
there's some of those.
like that.
My favorite are when like the dad is picking up the daughter from school and he's just blasting like something out the window
that's
and then the daughter's like
fantastic.
driving by and I'm like, okay, those are good.
Yeah.
There's this guy is a doctor, and he got his 1.8 million followers. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And he just went viral, and he posts some dad stuff sometimes, and it's hilarious. But he posts a lot of Memes.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of
he's
them.
all about memes.
Yeah, you know, I think when I started following
and
him,
it's all memes.
Yeah.
yeah, right. Can you imagine your doctor's like, hey, follow me on Instagram when you leave?
One thing
Just
that,
this.
like, we're, like, on this podcast, we do, like, as far as, like, the first, like, 30 minutes, we are a little, you know, not too concerned about it, but we definitely are vigilant of what we say for the first, you know, half, just because Christian and I are both freelance designers. And it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I don't need a political opinion floating around. I don't
Right.
need...
Yeah.
That's a big. It's funny that you say that too, because I get a lot of that. It's like, how do you keep your opinion for you? But like, I guess I'm good at that. And I like with this video, you'll see that comes out. Like I compare Mustang Week to LS Fest, but I was able to put my opinion in it
without ragging on it too hard.
Yeah, I was like, basically, I was like, there would have been no right answer about canceling Mustang Week because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
I was like, and a lot of people compare the two. I was like, you can't compare them. And then I, fact on why. I think you're able to put your opinion as long as you fact it.
Yeah.
Like why you've come up with that opinion.
Absolutely.
But I never, ever put politics out online.
Yeah. Well,
ever.
I mean, I've got in trouble online for just even having an opinion on a car page. Like, I said something about a very specific Michigan car page, and I was not allowed to advertise on that page because I apparently ruffled some feathers.
That sounds about like our car pages.
Yeah.
You can't really say much. You're not sure what you want to post.
Yeah,
You're not sure
like
what
you'll
will do
type
well.
something really funny out, and you're like, wait a second.
Every time, like I'll text Brian and I'll think it's hilarious, and I'll text him and I'll be like, he's like, we think it's great. He goes, and our friends will think it's great. He goes, but the page won't get it.
Yeah, and you're like, why?
Yeah, because then there's always because we made like a joke coyote shirt, and it's basically like I've been putting it out really slow because you.
Oh, the tick shirt.
Yeah, because you just don't know who's gonna get the same shitty humor that you have.
Right, yeah.
So you're like kind of put it out there a little bit. You're like, are they gonna enjoy this?
Yeah,
am
I just feel
ass?
like I feel like most of the pages here in Michigan would go on the ripping route rather than being like, oh, cool shirt. I feel like most of them would be like,
internet culture at this point.
I don't know. I mean, you see,
They're positive,
like,
you know.
Yeah, because like I feel like you're either on the side of small brand, help them out. Fuck yeah, I love that my friend has a small brand. I'm gonna buy their new shirt.
Mm-hmm, right.
Or you have I'm secretly jealous of these people, and I'm not sure why, and I'm going to say I don't like them, even though I'm going to talk about them probably 2 to 3 times a day.
Yeah, you get that a lot. Like some of my comments, and I try not to delete any of them, but once in a while I will when the information's incorrect. So like somebody was like, you bought an $80,000 car, put another 80 into it, and I was like
not even close.
I was like, first off, who's buying it? I was like, the Shelby's not even $80,000.
Yeah,
I was like, so who's buying an $80,000 Mustang?
25 to 45, depending on where you buy it.
Yeah.
And like mileage, stuff like that, and maybe like 8 to 10 grand.
Well, how much did you put into it?
Honestly, like if I really said what was into it, you'd probably be flabbergasted. I think Brian and I have a list, and it says like, if I paid full price for everything, it would be like $36,000.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think it's that much. I mean, a lot of people. That's what I tell a lot of people too. I'm like, well, check out the build throughout the channel because we kind of talk about it. The Whipple came from a smashed car.
Okay.
Nice.
So we bought a whole donor.
Good move.
Yeah, we bought and that's what's wild is like it's actually silver.
Yeah.
So I kind of fooled the internet a little bit. That was like my only clickbait, and I thought it would help the channel.
Yeah.
But and if it was if it wasn't silver, I wouldn't have done it. It was only because we got lucky and it was silver.
Yeah.
So we bought a Wrecked 18 that had a Whipple, a ton of suspension, wheels, and then that's where we got our Coyote and Trans for Brian's car.
Well, that's a good move then.
For us, it was a great move. Like it's sitting in the garage, like kind of dilapidated now, but like. It's worth something. We just haven't gotten to the point of like
figuring
selling
it out.
Yeah. Like my only and this is gonna be so weird, but the only thing I'm bummed about that we sold prematurely was the rear bumper. And I really wanted a spare rear bumper because I have to put a parachute on the car.
Would have been nice to have
the spare
pre-cut out one. And
I didn't even think about it, but it went to a drifter, so I was like, okay, at least it went to somebody who was utilizing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of drifting, is that something that you would ever get into?
Oh
or
yeah, I would love to. I think
build up another Mustang or.
At this point, honestly, I would love to do a C6.
Hell yeah! I mean, it's a solid platform.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would love to do a C6 as far as drifting. I think drifting is what takes real talent. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're a great driver." Yeah, driving an automatic down the track is scary. I don't think it takes a ton of talent.
I feel like drifting is the new accepted form of like rallycross, where rallycross never really took over visually, like because like rallycross was designed to be for TV, like you're really not getting that coverage anymore. Where like Ken Block really brought that in stateside, and people aren't usually like, oh my God, Ken Block anymore. People are kind of over it. People are like, all right, Hoonigan's awesome. Yeah, I dig it, but like no one's like talking about.
Well, a lot of people have kind of caught up. That's where he, with his daily content, I think they do create some pretty good daily content. But his videos that started to go really viral, people have started to recreate, especially even other Monster Energy brand or racers
so
that do the same
Gymkhana style
and like BJ Baldwin, like insane
but
in urban situations.
But that's just taking their version of the automotive hobby and doing an extreme video with it.
And it's content marketing.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's great, and I enjoy it because it's like they pay for
so
us to
much.
have entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is more so like drifting has become such a consumed thing versus rallycross or F1 because like I feel like more often you can someone will be like, oh dude, I randomly went to Grid Life. It was so much fun. No one's ever like, oh, I randomly went to an F1 event.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like you could drag your friend that's not into cars to Grid Life.
Oh yeah. It always overlaps with something, so I have never had the opportunity to go.
It's worthwhile going.
I know, I really, really want to.
Be careful where you camp.
I've heard that. That's always the common consensus.
It's between the rain and the crowd, it can get really interesting.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've seen some of Liam's videos on it, and I'm like...
I 2 years ago, I had a group of 4, I would say probably like, they're like 19 or 20. I mean, let's just say they were 21 for the sake of legality of them being pissed drunk. They tried to pick up my tent by each corner. And like the like old camp move where you put like a mattress somewhere where it's not meant to be, and they weren't anticipating that I was just like in my tent awake, and they got a nice punch to the face.
Oh, sounds like a good time.
It was just like one of those maneuvers where you're like, did that happen? Someone just tried to pick up our tent.
There's a pretty good representation of mullets there, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
And
the
pushing a Jetta
Saturdays for the boys.
Yeah.
The diesel truck that
PBR
has no right. Yeah. There's nothing like a good set of frat bros showing up at a car event trying to be a frat bro.
And sometimes they're not even frat bro. Well, I would say pretty frequently.
Okay, the last one I went to was I had to actively make sure I didn't get like into a fight with a frat bro.
See, when I say, I could see that, but I haven't been to the last one. But when I think of a frat bro, I think of like a guy in like a polo and like khaki shorts.
Okay,
and
colored khaki shorts.
Right, with like a
salmon.
with like their dad's with like
Vine.
an A4 that their dad bought them.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
What I'm referring to is the guy that gets pissed drunk every weekend.
Yeah, just
to get drunk.
Dare I say, degenerate partiers, but like and I think sometimes drivers will actually find it as like
I would say it's not the frats that are turning out to be senators. It's not the frats that are like, well, we party and do drugs, but we're gonna run the country. It's the frat bros that are like, hey, bro, like, I haven't gotten a job yet, but
my dad will help me out. I'll be fine. We call them functioning alcoholics.
Right.
That's what they are. They're functioning alcoholics. Sometimes
it's called networking, dude.
Yeah, bro. I went to the best networking event last week. I so blacked out.
Yeah, I still don't remember a single person's name.
It was like Catalina.
Got a stack of business cards though.
Yeah, dude. Did you go to Catalina last week? So sent it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, Grid Life is worth it if you can endure some of the silliness. But like, it's great to catch up with friends there. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to bring one of my cars there to get some track time. But Gingerman's is a great track.
Yeah, I would like this. I brought my Mach 1 today.
Okay.
I personally, I haven't really said this, but I'm gonna bag it at some point. And people are like, turn it into a drift car. Because I already have a fast car.
Yeah.
So it's like, I literally bought the Mach 1 because I'm just sentimentally attached to Mach 1s.
Yeah.
But I
also bought it just because it's like a fun little manual car just to drive around and like don't have to worry about it. Like
Yeah.
it's not low, it's not tinted, it's not loud. Like I don't have to worry about. I'll
You're
never
not
get in
like,
trouble in it.
Yeah, you're not passing a cop and being like, uh-oh,
Yeah,
what
like-
have I done today?
Yeah, like the butthole
Right.
pucker, like what I do, what I do. You know, like a cop let us in Kentucky, and Brian's like, "Are you worried?" I'm like, "Literally, I'm in the slowest car ever." I was like, "Why would I be worried?" I was like,
Yeah.
"There's no way."
I mean, there's nothing scarier when you pass a statey with an envoy of rally cars.
Oh my
And
gosh.
you see them light the cherries, and you're like, boys,
Light the
prepare
cherries.
to be raided.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man. When
lube the butts. And,
That's the worst part about living in Royal Oak.
yeah,
Like,
oh God.
I've gotten yelled at Potbelly, and I was literally just like,
You're
this
like-
is gonna sound so basic, but I was literally just going to grab a Starbucks and like, or sitting there with my laptop.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Excuse me, you can't hang out here," and I happen to have the Mustang, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is actually, I was like, here's my ID. I was like, this is actually the closest Starbucks to my house, and
Yeah.
they're like, you know, they try to fight you, but you actually have facts. And I'm
yeah,
like,
you're like,
am I
literally,
supposed
I'm
to
a
go?
customer here, and
I just have a nice car. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm being profiled, and then they get all mad, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just go to a Starbucks down the road.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
want to deal
like,
with you.
yeah.
nice move, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
Nice
ready to
move.
get out of Royal Oak for like. I mean, it's a great city,
I
but
think,
I'm just kind of done.
I think their city planning kind of went downhill last few years.
Yeah, they're taking a city, let's say that fits 10,000, and they're trying to put 100,000 into it.
Yeah, by putting in a lot of parking structures.
Yeah, and like I understand.
Well, at least they need. If any city puts in parking structures, as long as they're not ugly, I pretty much approve of it because
Except
parking in cities is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except it. I think it was something about all of the local businesses there were upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't like benefit their like business, and it was
Right, like
strict,
they're like, we don't need extra parking, and now this is an eyesore, and there's
Well,
more
I-
traffic to get
I
here.
think it also increased their rental rates and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
and I think like 3 restaurants left.
Yeah, Andiamo's was there for like 18 years, and
Yeah.
they left. So
Yeah, I
to
think
me,
they were,
it's
like,
like,
the-
Well, that's happening in Detroit as well. Like even in Eastern Market, there's
Eastern
a string of
Market's
restaurants.
getting jacked.
Oh my
up.
gosh, there's a string of restaurants that's been there since like Detroit was like the
Detroit.
roaring Detroit.
Yeah.
And they've been there forever,
They
like
can't handle
50,
hipster
60 years.
prices.
CVS bought the whole block and they're driving them all out.
Yeah, I mean
sucks.
that's how all
Or
of
I don't know
LA,
if about the whole block, but they,
I mean-
they bought a lot and the rest of them are, you know.
You look at the arts district of LA. Same thing happened, and I think everyone that invested in Detroit knew that was going to happen within 10 years. So it's
Yeah.
like
it's a double-edged sword. So it's like you want to see these cities thrive, but at the same time, it's like
it's
when
nice
I go.
being able to buy a house for $30,000.
Yeah, like with the Royal Oak, like even though their structures, like those businesses don't have the capacity. They don't go from 100 people to 200 because you added parking.
Yeah,
You know, so
at
like
all.
you're walking around and you're like, know.
What do I do now?
right. Like
Yeah.
I not everything in Royal Oak is meant to like hang out for a while. Like sometimes I just want to run up to the store and try a skirt on and leave.
Yeah.
So that's the only bummer about that. But I'm from the east side, so I'm ready for like not to be on top of my neighbors, and I'm ready for a little property. and
Yeah.
really just
Something
a
where you could
garage
maybe
and-
like send it with the Mustang in the driveway
Yeah.
and do a burnout. Not
yeah,
really matter.
or even just keep our trailer at our own house. You know, I
That-
keep it at my dad's shop because there's
Go interview all your neighbors before you move in.
Yeah,
like,
right.
are you going to be
asshole.
Yeah, permissive of certain
I mean,
acts of hooning.
I had my
Yeah.
neighbor yell at me maybe about a month ago at this point. It was
oh god.
it was fantastic. Good. It was like 5:30, and I kind of forgot what time it was. I had been up for a few hours. I decided to go to bed early. Woke up at like 2 a.m. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go mess around with the Huracan. Gonna go for a drive, and that thing has to warm up for a while. Mm-hmm. And to what I thought was going to be a cute send off to my fiance, I revved it up a little bit once it warmed up. So they already were pissed off because of just hearing the Huracan, like just
Yeah, just
right.
like-
idle and
yeah, just sitting there for like 10 minutes, just like, it's not very quiet for
Hey,
them
at
sleeping.
least it's a pleasant noise. Like instead
No.
of somebody mowing the lawn at like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
Have you ever,
but
you ever
that-
had a neighbor like that?
Yeah, no,
Just
I
that
was.
mows like they just got done with the beeping garbage trucks.
Yeah.
Like just beep. beep all
This is why I
freaking
don't
morning,
live in the
and all of a
city.
sudden somebody like they're leaf blowing their whole house at 6 a.m. And
That's why I didn't go into like when I was staying in Grand Rapids last weekend. That's what it was at 5:30 in the morning.
Right. Yeah. Like any sort of like densely populated residential area you're gonna run into issues like that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So go.
Oh,
You were gonna segue. Go for it.
Yeah. So you're gonna eventually, have your own shop and some land, all that good stuff.
What are you looking for like the 1320p? I always say 1320p chick, but 1320 chick. Like your brand in 5 years.
Like where is that going in 5 years time?
If it grows at this rate, I'll be happy. Like I said, if it were to like, was that thunder?
Yeah. Oh, my sunroof's open.
Well, on that note,
Whoa.
so Christian, go run out. Go handle your. Don't unplug anything.
I was gonna ask if that window was tinted because I noticed that it was getting darker, but I thought maybe it was just tinted.
Yeah. So if you're a listener, if you've made it to this point, we applaud you. But also, you can probably hear the thunder.
Yeah. I was watching that a little bit. I was like, oh no, it must just be a tinted window. It's not.
Oh, it's tinted, but it's.
It's blackout.
Yeah. I did not know it was gonna be. Your car fine?
Yeah, it's just the mock.
Okay.
I don't think I left the windows open.
You're like, even if I did, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. It's funny because the other day my mom and I went somewhere and she's like, it sounded like the mock just started. And I was like, they can take it.
Yeah, you're like, I don't care.
She's like, really? She's like, you're so attached to that thing. And I was like, I know. It's a praise for 15 though.
Yeah.
I was like, it's got, we switched over to Grundy. Best decision we've ever made.
Yeah.
So anything like, we have everything outrageously appraised.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'll like smash it, take it, I don't care.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'll even have the moment once in a while just being like, I'm concerned about my Huracan. And then it's just like, that's what insurance is for.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, someone rear-ended that car after having it for like 4 months. Yeah.
Did you rear end them?
No,
I mean, like, did you... Like figuratively speaking afterwards.
Oh, no. She was a very, very hostile mother that was not very concerned about her child. From what I could tell, she was texting and driving. Her kid wasn't buckled. I saw him like jumping around in the back seat, and when I went like to go one lane left, she decided to go one lane right. And, or perhaps she was trying to block me. Yeah, this thunder's rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was not expecting that today.
No, either was I. But, so subsequently, she hit my rear quarter panel right above my taillight. So, thankfully, didn't hit the taillight, saved a few grand on that. But, it's a
rear
very...
quarter panel that's normally really expensive, right? Because a lot of cars, the rear quarter panel isn't even like.
Well, the Huracan, you can unbolt the rear quarter panel.
Nice. Good job, Lamborghini.
Yeah. So, well, perhaps it's I forget. I think it's a full bolt off. It might be a spot weld drill, but because it's a carbon tub, I believe it's just a bolt on quarter panel. But yeah, so they massaged it all back. I mean, it's all aluminum, so like it was one of those things of like, this is either crumpled or we're gonna be able to fix it. We'll let you know in like a month.
Right.
And it was their guy's last job, and I'm like, what? So the guy that fixed my car no longer works here. He's like, yeah, this was his last job, and he did a really good job, but don't do this again.
Yeah, they're like, don't let it happen.
Yeah, never let this happen again. The guy is gone.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Can I get his number?
Yeah.
Right, we can do it on the side.
Yeah.
Hey man, I've got some tools.
I got a French wheel. I'll figure it out.
Shop space too.
Yeah.
You can come here.
Yeah, come work for me. But I guess on this note, we have thunder in the background.
Yeah, right.
We've been going at this for just over an hour and 20, and I guess good time to wrap up.
Any before we go, any
advice to
any advice to other girls in the automotive scene, racing or YouTubing?
Don't let anybody tell you that you're different, or let them tell you you're different, but don't be stumbled by it. Because like I used to hear that all the time, or I had girlfriends in high school that were like, "Oh, I'm going to go get a Louis Vuitton," and I was over there like, "But this set of wheels, though."
Yeah, I'm going to go get some
This
PCBRs.
car part's going to be real nice, and I'm going to have it forever.
Right. And so I was like, I guess my greatest advice is like, just keep going. Like, do not let anybody dull your shine.
Yeah.
And that's I want to spread that to everybody. Like, there's local girls and they're like, I feel so different, and I'm like, that's good. Keep going with that. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah,
and I thought that for a while. Like,
being tall and being a girl in the car community, like I just was like, great, I'm this weird
You're
awkward
like, I
giant
stick
that
out.
loves cars.
But nobody gets famous for being like everybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I tell people too. I'm like,
If no one hates you, you're essentially doing it wrong.
Yeah.
and
That's
I'm
the way
like,
I
You can have haters. Yeah.
yeah, and like, and even if they don't act like it, there are people who are jealous. Like,
Oh.
you get a nasty comment here and there, and
Most hate really goes down to some form of jealousy.
yeah. When I hear people say that though, like my friends will be, "Don't worry, they're just jealous." I'm like,
It's hard to
yeah, it like feels weird. You're like, no, why would they be jealous?
No,
you know?
they have their own life or
Yeah.
whatever, and then you're just like, wait, maybe they are.
Maybe, yeah, and I'm like, it could be. You know?
I mean, well, again, I think it's like you personally like don't even like to see your own success within YouTube.
Yeah,
I think it personally you might not want to see when someone could envy you.
yeah, it's weird. Like, I mean, people envy my relationship with my dad, and like I said before, like it took us a long time to get here.
Yeah.
But it's like, why? My dad's a goober, you know?
You're like, he's just my dad.
Yeah, like my dad will call me and be like, oh, I ran this and this at the track, but I broke half shit. Like, he'll call me and update me, and before I probably would have been like, this is so weird. But I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. I was like, I'm still gonna beat you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, him and I will go back and forth a lot of the time. Like, he's like, oh, I ordered cams for the 5.0, and I'm like, oh, because you're scared.
Yeah.
He's like, Joe, I'm not scared. I'm like,
I mean, that's cute though. I mean, like from a standpoint of like my dad's an automotive enthusiast as well.
Sharing a hobby
like,
is
yeah, sharing a hobby
Yeah.
is something that a lot of people don't get to enjoy with their parents.
yeah, and I'm lucky that I have also my mom.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it sounds like your whole family's into wrenching to some degree.
some
and-
degree. My sisters are not as much, but
Yeah.
my brother's actually really into like JDM. And
Okay.
I think it like
is that like the black sheep of the family maneuver, or just not being into cars is the black sheep of the
I was
family?
gonna say, are you the
being into
favorite?
cars. I don't think so.
baby.
I don't know, maybe.
Mom, Dad, close your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
My dad got me a lot of car parts for Christmas, so maybe.
oh yeah, there's been years that my mom's like, no car parts this year. And I'm like, but come on, it's so easy. I'm like, what do I need another pillow for, Mom?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need another dang calendar. Like,
Yeah,
I
but-
was like, I want lowering springs, or I need these two rear wheels. Or
How are you
whatever.
supposed to know what kind of underwear that I like?
Yeah, right. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
want
like
that.
my parents will ask, like, you know, like, what do you need for your house? Like, do you need any kitchen stuff, like, for you and your fiance? And it's like, no. I need car parts, or she needs car parts.
Yep.
And when you start to get older, like, you know, things that you need are great as gifts, but I think things that you want is more of what you want to go
more
for.
what you
Yeah.
Like
Those things
socks,
just get
I
more-
need those,
Yeah.
but I don't want these.
Yeah,
That's
right.
already factored into my budget. Like,
Yeah,
the
like-
things that aren't factored into my budget are the things that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I haven't bought this for myself because I was secretly hoping one of you
It would be
did.
good. Well, like for the wedding, everybody was like, what do you actually want? And I was like, I don't need matching silverware. I was like, but I need a racing suit. I was like, so
Yeah.
somebody buy me, or I have a jacket, so I'm like, just buy me the suit or buy me pants.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, but that doesn't benefit Brian. And Brian goes, it does, because then it's $1,000 I don't have to spend on her.
Yeah.
You know? So
I mean,
like,
I was trying to see if Summit had
a registry?
tongue tied
Wedding
on that.
registry.
Yeah, wedding
Well,
registry.
If you guys haven't already registered, my pro tip, always do Target, because we got a lot of gift cards or like stuff that we returned, and I
Yeah.
would not do Bed Bath & Beyond. I was like, I don't need a
That-
fancy vase. I was
yeah.
like, I don't. What am I gonna do with a fancy vase?
Yeah.
You know, so we did
Look at
Target.
it?
Yeah, or like put dead flowers in it.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
yeah.
know, dead
I mean,
flowers around.
the worst part is I'm a product designer, so a lot of the stuff in my house are things that I've designed
Already.
or built. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want that serving tray because I have a serving tray that I made and
It's worth
essentially
fine.
Yeah.
retails for
Yeah.
just under $1,000.
You
Right.
So like
literally
it's,
cannot get one that I like more. I
Yeah.
actually built
I've actually
this.
built
yeah,
it. Right.
yeah, like
right.
I made this to my specifications.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we did that. We went to Streetcar Takeover and we were dying. So we left and we took all the wedding gift cards and got chairs, cooler, and canopies. And so I told everybody, I'm like, that's where you want to register, because I'll never use a backlog of. Dang. I
Wow.
was like, I'll never use a backlog of stuff for Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah.
No offense to Bed Bath & Beyond, but
Well,
my
no-
canopies were really worth it.
Yeah, you're
so
like-
we use them constantly.
Yeah.
At this point, I might take you up on that Target advice. I'm still rooting for either Home Depot or Summit to
That's a
come
good
up with
one,
a
too.
registry.
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna actually make a trip down to Summit because I'm a giant, so none of the pants fit me right. So I'm like, let's just drive to
Amen.
Summit. It's not that far.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I
You
have
feel me?
the opposite spectrum,
You
where
need a little smaller one.
yeah, I need a little Hobbit suit, and
I feel you though.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's one of those things where you're either my height and about 40 pounds less than me. Like,
See, and I think it's the opposite for me. Like, usually if you're my height, they just assume, like, it's XXL.
Yeah.
They're just, like, that's what I need for the length, but XXL is
I don't
literally
need it this
double my
wide.
width.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't need
like,
that
like
wide.
I'm wearing a box now.
yeah, like, I mean, it's certainly no disrespect for to this guy specifically, but, like, our guest last week is kind of more of the stature that clothing companies think I am
Right.
at this
Or
height.
just the general, like, the majority of the people who are in your size,
That's-
that's what,
that's
you know,
the
creates
that's
the
the
one
like
size fits all.
percentile.
Right.
That's like the one size fits all. But so with my racing suit, I was like, all right, to be 140 and this waistline, I'm a medium. Fucking A. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be rolling up those pant legs.
Yep.
My girlfriend's 6'2" and has some of the same issues. It's like, you can't...
I mean, it's funny.
Everything has to be tailored.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny
You can't buy
listening
cheap
to the
brands.
conversations between your girlfriend and my fiance, where it's like they're like figuring out dresses or whatever, and it's like, oh, this is too short, mine's too long.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Me with
if
my
only
friends.
You could, blend together, be hybrid, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my problem. Like, I have a men's medium jacket from Sparko, and like it just clears my hips,
Yeah.
but then up here is like.
And then you do this, and all of a sudden you're showing your belly button.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm like, Brian was like, let's just make the trip down to Summit and just have something size. Well, I met Leah
Yeah, because it's not
Pritchett.
far. It's Ohio.
Oh yeah, it's not far at all. I met Leah Pritchett at I hope that's how you say it. Where did I meet her? Roadkill.
Okay.
And she got out of the dragster.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you're tall.
Yeah.
I was like, where's your jacket or where's your suit from? And she's like, oh, just call Sparko. They'll make one for you.
What?
I was like, yeah,
well-
girl, for $5,500. I was like, who's
Right.
got that kind of money?
Yeah,
I was like, I'm
I
sure
mean,
she just got given hers.
That's the rough part. I was like, I really want a good racing suit. Then I was just like, I don't have that sponsorship money or
because
like
it goes back
whatever.
to like what we're saying. It's
Yeah.
your life, so you don't want to skimp.
Yeah,
So then you're like,
exactly.
what do I do?
Yeah, I mean that's like you going into building a car. You're like, this is my life. I don't want to skim. But then it's just that one random part that
Yep,
you did skimp out
It's always
on.
the one random part. Like, I'm about to put a cage. I'm about to put a parachute. We just did a rear seat delete, but I still won't buy the 10 rib pulley.
Yeah.
I'm still on a 6 rib, so everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you have like the peasant build."
I mean, like I
Yeah.
had
Yeah,
all,
right.
Yeah,
brand
runs
new
nines,
crate motor,
eights.
brand new Tremec T56, brand new CTSV differential, carbon fiber drive shaft, and then I still had knockoff bride seats.
Yeah.
And
There's the one thing.
yeah, and then knockoff katana like harnesses, and it was just like, okay, this is actually dangerous.
Yeah.
So before we tangent too far, we were talking about clothing sizes. Do you want to drop your shoe size for all the feet people that are now watching this?
A 9.5. I'll take whatever. I have posted
You
shoes
can
before.
direct message her to
Yeah.
inquire
Yeah,
about
1320
price
chick.
point.
Yep. We talked about the accessibility of direct messages, the people who ask you about feet, and now your shoe size. So we should
Yeah.
be complete,
Yeah, it should
right?
be
Yeah,
good.
and-
There's random things that I'll every once in a while be like, will someone get me these? And I haven't gotten someone yet that's like, I'll buy them.
Right.
Like I put sunglasses out and they were like $45, and I was like, this
Yeah.
would be nice if someone did.
Yeah, you're like,
You know,
some
Amazon
super
wishlist
fan,
store.
please, I'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess I just haven't gotten to that status yet. And Brian's like,
Well,
one day I get a P.O. box.
The
and
thing
then
is,
go get gifts.
you're on a more, as mentioned, like wholesome visual aesthetic. I think that level of thirst comes in with like
Yeah.
skimpy, risky kind of things, and you're like, I think you're dodging a lot by
Yeah.
not dealing with that.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have officially hit an hour and 22 plus some. And so I think it's time to wrap up before our cameras are like not having it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Before they're done for the day.
yeah. So thank you very much. If you've made it to this part of the podcast as a listener, thank you. Please hit that subscribe button and be sure to go subscribe to that 1320 chick.
Anything else you want to plug? Any social media channels?
Go buy her
or-
merch.
I have a YouTube and an Instagram, so check those two out, please.
Awesome. And both are 1320 chick.
Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
We'll link those in the description as well. So
Appreciate
Perfect.
that.
cool. Alrighty.